Throughout the series, Max and Steel definitely went through their fair share of adventures, with 52 episodes and 3 movies, because no, I am not counting seasons 4 and 5. The glory days of the Max Steel reboot were filled with incredible adventures and amazing moments. However, what many Max Steel fans don't know is that during 2016, during the era of season 3, 6 mini episodes were released that showcased some of Max and Steel's adventures after the events of Maximum Morphos. These were fully animated, and while unfortunately they didn't include anything major like new turbo modes or anything, they did actually include some cool new concepts that were never seen in the show, as well as some season 3 turbo modes that we only saw very briefly in the 3 season 3 movies. Now these mini episodes are pretty difficult to track down, but luckily I managed to find them in HD. And if you've never seen these, then you're in for a treat, because this is the beginning of a series in which I will go through each of the 6 minisodes, react to it, and analyze it. Now, because these are mini episodes, they aren't actually perfect. The animation quality and the quality of the dialogue is actually a little worse than the regular episodes. And while I'd say most of them could definitely be considered as canon, there are some that probably shouldn't be, as you guys will definitely see when we get to them. But the first of the minisodes we're going to be reacting to in this video is called Better Off Dread. Within this minisode, we get the team up we never knew we wanted when Dread, Extroyer, and Toxon all team up to capture Max and some of his N-Tech buddies. And when Dread invents a new device known as the mode inhibitor to stop Max from going turbo, Max and the N-Tech gang have to figure out how to save the day without the use of Max's turbo modes. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of these, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Better Off Dread. Look at that.
Shall we review your situation, Max Steel? All your friends captured. All your turbo modes disabled thanks to this mode inhibitor.
Now, there's a lot of things to talk about straight off the bat. First off, the fact that Dread, Extroyer, and Toxon have teamed up. Because while we have had a few villain team-ups over the course of the show, you know, in Season 1 we had, Dread and the Elementals teaming up quite often, actually. And in Season 2, we kind of had Dread and Machino's forces, and obviously in the finale of Season 3, we had all the villains teaming up. And I forgot that in Season 1, Dread and Extroyer sort of teamed up for, like, half an episode. But Dread, Extroyer, and Toxon, who are arguably Max's main villains in Season 1, all working together in one place at one time, yeah, that's pretty cool. And second off, let's talk about this mode inhibitor, because first off, I think it looks really, really cool. And second off, now that that's been introduced in this minisode, it's a little weird to think that Dread or anyone else really never thought of trying anything like that. I mean, Max's main strength is obviously his turbo modes, and it's a little weird that no one ever tried to, like, stop him from going turbo. I mean, I guess Machino tried to do that a little bit by, you know, trying to do stuff to Steel, like putting a virus on him. Actually putting 2 viruses on him. He actually tried that twice. But it's just surprising now that you actually think about it that no one ever did anything like this, just putting some sort of device on Max that stops Steel from interfacing with him. It's a really obvious thing when you think about it.
Alone? We could never defeat you. But when working together, let's just say your odds of survival really stink.
Was that, like, necessary at all? Also, I want to make this point because I can't remember if I talked about it in the part 2 of the turbo mode videos. I'm not really a fan of the Season 3 change, which means that Max's helmet has his mouth open. I'm not sure I like that. Especially not due to the fact that when it's at a certain angle, you can literally see Max's face. And the excuse for doing that everyone thought he was a robot, that's a little weird. And on top of all of that, I still don't understand why they actually did it. Because as far as I know, there weren't any, like, action figures that had this new style of helmet, so This was just a weird change that they did for no apparent reason. And the funny thing is, they actually completely reverted that change in Season 4, so funnily enough, that's actually, I think, the one thing that Season 4 did better than Season 3.
You're not the only one working together.
Are they... Really? Come on, guys, there's literally 3 of you now! 3 of Max's most powerful villains, and they're just fucking ignoring the fact that Berto and Max very clearly have some sort of plan. God almighty, without his turbo modes, they can literally shove him in the bubbling ooze right now and be done with it. Dredd's bragging is actually going to be what lets Max escape in this. And speaking of which, God knows how they managed to capture him in the first place, because even Dredd, Extroyer, and Toxon working together, capturing Max and all of his Entech pals, that's a difficult job. And you've got to remember, this is post-Season 3. He has access to Duo Strike and Exo Strength and all of that good stuff, so how the hell did they manage to capture him?
Farewell, Max Steel.
Oh my god. It's like Star Wars. Also, it definitely wasn't the best idea to keep Sideshow around, considering I'm pretty certain that literally all 3 of these villains have seen that Sideshow carries all of Max's turbo gear. So they've taken away his turbo modes, but they've literally left him with a mobile arsenal like several meters away. Again, I don't understand how these guys were able to actually capture Max and get that mode inhibitor on him, and yet are still fucking up so badly.
Seize him with putrefying pleasure.
Now, these slow motion sequences happen quite a lot in the minisodes, and to be honest, I think it's just a way for the animators to save time so that they don't have to, like, animate every little fight scene. And I'm fine with that, to be honest. It's a little different than what we usually get, but it still looks pretty cool. Also, why did Dredd say seize him? They just want him dead. I swear to God, Toxon probably could have just shot him with his, you know, goop cannons, and he probably would have just fallen into the acid right there and then. They are genuinely making it easy for Max to escape. They are messing up so badly.
I think it's time we cut you off.
Oof. Whee! Oh, lovely. I want to know what the conversation was like for Dredd to have gone to Extroyer and Toxon and, like, convince them to help him. Because Dredd and Extroyer, while they're, like, complete psychopaths, Toxon is completely insane. I think it would have been hilarious to just see the conversation between them when Dredd was asking them to join up with him.
There's no escape.
I'm sorry, that shouldn't be funny, but, you know, Extroyer was just saying something cool and evil and then just got literally just fucking nailed in the face. Oh, this is so cool. I should also mention that I have seen these before. I haven't gone this long without watching them. But these minisodes are just so cool. Just little plot lines and little adventures that may not have been enough to, you know, make a whole episode out of. Then again, I think they definitely could have made an entire episode out of Dredd, Extroyer, and Toxon teaming up. What? What was that? What was that scream? Ah, oh, Extroyer, I love you, buddy. So after whacking Toxon and melting the webs and everything, I'm pretty sure they've just made everything worse. Okay, that was the slowest reaction time from Max that I have ever seen. Max, this whole episode is supposed to be about the fact that you do not need your turbo modes to beat your villains. Why are you being so useless? You're being almost as useless as the villains that supposedly captured you.
Citro, we could use a little help here.
What are the villains doing right now? They literally have all of Max's friends and Max and Steel exactly where they want them. I don't care. The 3 of them are literally being brain dead at this point. They could have killed Max and his friends at literally 1,000 different moments during this episode thus far, and they're just not. Oh, that was smart. Oof. Yeah, that was definitely a bright idea in hindsight. Use Cytro's jet to set fire to the webs, which are the only thing keeping all of the N-Tech guys above the bubbling ooze. But that's actually an ability we've never seen from Cytro, I don't think. Firing out ropes from his arm, that was pretty cool. So just to summarize here, Extroyer, Dredd, and Toxon had Max, Steel, and all of his N-Tech pals exactly where they wanted them. Now they definitely do not have them exactly where they wanted them. And all because Dredd had to give us some fancy exposition. And the fact that they just blatantly weren't paying attention to Berto. And the fact that they apparently have to have Max helpless before they kill him. They can't just fucking kill him. Ooh! Oh, there goes the turbo sword. I wonder how many times Berto's had to replace all of Max's turbo gigs. I'm pretty certain that it's all been lost and destroyed at many different points during the series. Not that I can really think of a specific point where that happened right now. Ooh. Oh! That is... Ooh. Also, how the hell is there room in this place for Extroyer's Tyrannosaur transformation? Just looking at the general area, it looked really cramped.
Max, Steel, incoming!
Turbo whip! Here we go.
Prepare to be turbo tamed!
Ooh! Like I said, these slow motion bits are quite common just so they don't have to animate every single, you know, expensive fight scene that would be, you know, very time consuming to animate. Especially with the turbo whip. I mean, God knows that that's hard to animate. Well, that's 2 villains down, taken care of without a single turbo mode. What? They've really lost their touch. Must have been all that time they spent in prison after Morphos threw them in there.
He can't even change modes. He should be easy to take down.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't have been yammering on at the start and just pushed him into the ooze when you had the chance, Dredd. This is your fault.
It's over, Dredd!
Oh.
The hologram?
Ha ha ha, big illusion. Wait a minute. Did Steel just decouple from the turbo lash and allow it to just fall into the ooze? Really making extra work for Berto there, Steel. One asshole. Yeah, that was one hell of a realistic hologram. Dredd's definitely improved the technology to allow himself to look that real.
After all, someone had to activate the failsafe.
So he couldn't be there in person, but he had to be, like, right next to the facility. Couldn't he literally have been, like, 1,000 miles away and just activated it remotely? Also, there's Nort. Hello, Nort.
I've arranged for you an all-expense-paid trip to the sun.
Well, he may have been stupid as to not push Max into the ooze when he had the chance, but that's one hell of a failsafe, Dredd. But then again, he does realize, like, how long it would take for that little craft to get to the sun, going at that speed. They'll just, like, lose oxygen or freeze to death in space before they get to the sun.
Only a one-way ticket, I'm afraid. What? Bon voyage, Max Steel.
I mean, you know, is it really that surprising that Dredd betrayed Extroyer and Toxon? Like, really that surprising? But I must say, it is pretty funny for them to realize that they too are about to fly off into space. Now would be a very good time for Turbo Nova mode or Turbo Rocket mode. Or any turbo mode, really. I'm pretty sure all of them are immune to space. Well, at least they would be if Max didn't have a giant fucking hole in his helmet. I don't know, maybe it's not an actual hole and it's just like a part that's invisible because the steel suit is like all over him at all times. So it's probably just a cosmetic thing. The steel suit probably is still there over his mouth.
Is it just me, or is it getting hot in here?
No, it is definitely not getting hot in here, Steel, because you haven't even fucking left Earth's atmosphere yet.
Well, what about that panel? It connects to the fuel line. If we can disable it, we'll disable its thrusters.
I'm sorry, Steel. How is it possible that you figured all of that out? That is literally just a random panel. It could control the lights for all you know.
I got this.
Ooh.
Told Told you it was a tricky shot.
I tell you what, I'm jealous of you guys, some of which I assume are probably watching these for the first time. Because unlike everything else that came after Season 3, this still absolutely feels like Max Steel.
Steel, remember that turbo trick you showed me?
Now that's new. Using Steel and Max's turbo energy as a fucking turbo bow? Yeah, that's cool. Again, these minisodes don't include anything major like a new turbo mode or anything, but that is not to say that they do not contain cool new shit.
We don't have much time.
Okay, from that shot, it looks like they were actually in space now. How the hell do they still have oxygen?
Little higher. There, take the shot.
Whoa! Well, that was one hell of a shot. But yeah, the turbo bow, that is something absolutely awesome. Like, while these minisodes aren't as, like, long, obviously, or necessarily as good or as polished as, you know, the regular Max Steel episodes, they really did not half-arse this. They still made the effort to introduce cool new things in these episodes, and that's really cool. Also, why the hell is there a traffic cone there?
Nice shooting, Max. You killed the thrusters.
And us too. We're in free fall.
Oh! I love it how, obviously, since Dredd betrayed them, Extroyer and Toxon are just sort of along for the ride now. Also, I really love it how neither one of them did anything to help them, like, reach the panel.
We're not going down without a fight.
Really? You're telling me Citro is gonna lift that? Ah, I've just realized from the shot on the outside, it wasn't a hole, it was like a glass roof. Then again, it would have to be pretty strong glass not to, you know, shatter when going that far out into space that quickly. I don't know. I don't fucking know anymore. At least this is easier to justify than Turbocharged was.
Oh no.
Oh, Naughty, he's always the comic relief, isn't he? I love him. Yeah, go Citro! Yep, I knew it.
Not again.
Come on, Berto, you should know by now that Citro never survives, like, literally any encounter he has with anything. Oh! God, Nort really gets knocked around more than any other villain, doesn't he? Off with the mode inhibitor!
Got our turbo modes back.
Still, it's nice to know. We don't always need them.
And I tell you what, that is a really cool message for this whole minisode. Max and Steel are not just their turbo modes. The amount of experience they have means that sometimes they don't actually need them. Although, of course, they are very useful to have. I'm pretty sure this whole ordeal could have been avoided if he still had his turbo modes.
It's all a big misunderstanding.
Oh, Dredd.
If you just let me explain.
Oh, you better run, boy!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Ah, Dredd, that's what happens when you betray people. Oh. Yeah, keep running, mate. Well, everyone, that was Better Off Dredd. Honestly, a really cool minisode. I really like this one. I haven't rewatched all of them in a while, so I'm not really certain if this opinion is going to stay for the rest of the series, but I think this one might actually be my favorite. In just a 6-minute episode, we got so much cool shit, like a team-up between 3 of Max's main villains, a really cool new ability with the turbo bow, and a really cool general plot for the episode with the mode inhibitor. Throughout the series, we've seen Max be unable to switch between turbo modes a few times before, but that's always been due to Steel being missing or captured or broken or something along those lines. We've never seen any actual attempt to stop Max interfacing with Steel like we saw in this episode with the mode inhibitor. And like I said in the reaction, now that you actually think about it, it's really weird that no one ever tried that. Because if all it takes is a big metal lock on Max's chest to stop him from going turbo, then why the hell hasn't Dredd tried this in the past? But this was a really cool minisode, and just like I said, in just 6 minutes, they managed to squeeze in a lot of awesome stuff. Not to mention the nice little message at the end that shows that even without their turbo modes, Max and Steel are still capable of saving the day. Now, one thing I'm also going to do in these videos is decide whether or not I think these minisodes are canon or non-canon. And you'll definitely see why I'm choosing to do that when we get to some of the later ones. But I don't really see anything particularly outlandish in this minisode. All the characters behaved as they should. We got an awesome new turbo ability that seems entirely possible. And there's nothing that doesn't make sense in the continuity, considering that all of these minisodes are supposed to take place after Maximum Morphos. So with all of that said, I can confidently say that Better Off Dread is canon. A fun little adventure with a really cool villain team up, an awesome new concept, and an awesome new turbo ability. Join me next time where we'll be reviewing Hot Water, where Max goes head to head with Water and Fire Elementor in the middle of an outing with Sydney. So if you don't want to miss that reaction, make sure to subscribe and go down into the comments or the description down below and join the Max Steel unofficial Discord. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and I will see you on another video very, very soon. Goodbye, everyone.